What's up Raiders, Bionic here. Welcome to a Raid Shadow Legends video. We are going to talk about something that is extremely important. Doom Tower has brought a whole new level of gear requirements. More precisely, stat requirements for you to get this done. In some cases, some might even say that a specific champion is necessary for you to progress. And we all know that the bosses are relatively hard or complex. For instance, the Scarab King, which is the one that I'm farming, you can come up with a team that has no legendaries. I have the build video for that. But more importantly, the floors in between the bosses, especially maybe the last like 30 floors or so, or for like myself, the ultimate one that I had the hardest time to complete was floor 112 because of my setup. My team carried me through the entire thing, but I had to do some drastic changes on the gear to get this to work, and that is what I want to show you guys today. So let's jump right into it. Alright, so here we are with the best teams of my own clan, and I wanna bring something to your attention here. What's going on, right, is the fact that we have a Duchess. What does Duchess do? Place block debuffs, right? I have it as well in the Mausoleum Mage, but he's not working as intended. Let me get back to that in a second. Then we have Warlord, which can do it, and we have Duchess here as well. In fact, a lot of players are saying like a Duchess is almost necessary or a similar champion because they all do the same thing here, is that they place the block debuffs, all right? So Sifi can do it as well. We have Duchess, we have Mausoleum Mage, which is the one that I used. We have a Grizzled Jarl. Madame Seer, unfortunately, you need to strip some buffs first, so I don't think she's exactly built for this, but Blind Seer, Warlord, Maneater, Sepulchre Sentinel, then we have two free versions, which is like Spirit Host and Marked. Okay, so they can all do this. I decided to work with the Mausoleum Mage because he's also given me more buffs for my Seer to eat. There is a major problem with Mausoleum Mage. I talked about it before, but I thought I would point it out here again. So let me go on to his kit first. I'm going to show you my built Mausoleum Mage, which is this guy right here, with maxed out skills. You see, places block debuffs on all allies for 1 turn. Also places 30% increased crit rate and 60% increased defense on all allies for 2 turns. 3 buffs. Fantastic for my Seer. Problem is that when he is not ascended, his skill is different. Okay, so here's a non-ascended version of a Mausoleum Mage. You see that it starts with increased crit rate and increased defense. Then when you send him, you get the block debuffs. But when he does his skill ascended, it's still in this order: increased crit rate, increased defense, and then the block debuffs. So that caused a huge issue for that floor 112 because I kept being frozen by those 3 Tormunds. I also showed you guys not too long before what that floor was all about. Okay, so we have stage 112 here: Tormund, Gurgo the Augur, Tormund, Gurgo the Augur, and Tormund, and then look at their stats: resistance and accuracy. So if you're going to build some champions, for example a Seer, to only nuke, chances are you're never going to get a chance to nuke with her because she's going to keep being frozen. And so the only way to counter this is with that block debuffs in the right order with some of the champions that I just showed you guys. But if you can't do it because you don't have those champions, do not build your Seer without resistance. You have to factor this in. In fact, I've had to build all my champions with a ton of resistance on top of accuracy for me to simply get past this floor. But then what you want to do is to obviously make sure everything balances out. You don't want to commit all of your gear or the best gear on your account to these champions and then strip everybody else just for this to work. So that's what I want to cover with you guys today: how I made it work on all my champions and then for them to keep working everywhere else. My Seer is still good in dungeons. In fact, she's now also great in the arena. She has a lot of resistance. She has even more accuracy. So I was able to beat the values that you see, sorry, not here, but on here. And to better explain that, maybe you guys remember this chart right here, but it gives you an understanding of the, sort of like the min-max that you can reach with your accuracy versus resistance. So there is such a thing as too much. If you get just too much accuracy over the resistance, it's going to be wasted. You're always going to be at roughly 95% chance of success rate of placing that debuff. Even if you go all the way up to 100 accuracy over your resistance, you're still going up to about only 97%, which is a loss. You don't want to spend all your extra substat rolls on something that is going to be useless. In fact, you want to be within this range of between plus 13 to plus 25, even plus 25, you're already starting to get a decent amount of diminishing returns. Therefore, between like being accuracy exactly equal to resistance of the enemies, maybe a plus 10 tops would be good enough, right? So that is what I tried to do with the accuracy, but then also taking into account their own accuracy of the enemy, my own resistance, right? So obviously, if you're a little bit too low, even as low as, let's say, 30 resistance under their accuracy, they still have a pretty good chance at placing those debuffs. So again, my champions are not yet perfect. I have a lot of min-maxing to do, but it's also because I don't have full legendary across the board, legendary gear, that is, okay? So if we look at the total stats of, let's say, my Lydia the Death Siren, which I completely re-geared for this, you see that I went all the way up to 370 resistance over their accuracy, which is about 320. So I have a 50 over. It's maybe a little bit too much, but it's sort of how the gear ended up working out. So obviously, eventually, maybe I'm going to try and reduce that a little bit. But then for my accuracy, I'm also roughly on par with them, or for their resistance. I could increase this as well a little bit, but still reaching these values, which were very close to 700 total resistance plus accuracy, while maintaining a good amount of speed, while maintaining a good amount of defense. Of course, I would like my offensive stats to be high as well, but you can't have it all. It is going to be very hard for you to do this, and these are crucial to getting this done. Accuracy and resistant chess pieces are now, in my opinion, the best in slot for end-game PvE content, but it's also fantastic for the PvP, at least for gold 4 and up. I pushed all the way to platinum with this with my champions as they are geared right now. It kind of worked well, even with a Seer as she is built, as I'll show you guys in a second. You'll also obviously want to probably go down the defense and support tree lines for you to hit these stats. You got to work with either Unshakable or Eagle Eye. I don't think there's any other way, aside also from having a maxed out Great Hall, that you can hit these values. And again, a little bit of room for improvement here. I could put 2 more pieces of accuracy or perception or resistance and get my values even higher, but for the time being, I got this to work as is. Tormund here, same thing. However, for this guy, I was able to reach 320 resistance and 320 accuracy. We'll say it's roughly on par, could be a little bit better. Room for improvement on the gear, but I also have a stun set. This is hard, while maintaining also a good amount of speed because of the way I use him in the arena. So I did not want to sacrifice too much to get this done. And on top of that, he has a defense percent chest, okay? Tormund does start with higher resistance and accuracy in the beginning, but still, same concept here. You have to go with defense and support and probably work with Unshakable as your tier 6. Let's do Arbiter here real quick. Only resistance. I'm not too concerned about her skill to strip the buffs or to place the weaken. I just want her to be extremely fast, but also not to get crowd control on the Doom Tower, because I did use her in there. So I sacrifice 10 speed. Did I drop from gold 4 to gold 3 or gold 2? No, I'm still good enough, right? So this is already pushing it pretty high in terms of speed. We did keep a good amount of defense because we also kept a defense percent chest on her for this. But for the masteries, you see that I have room for improvement. I could drop timely intervention and work my way to Unshakable if I wanted to, right? And be very close to 400 resistance. I still have a couple pieces that can be ranked up. I don't have full legendary gear. I don't even have a 6-star banner to get this done. So you can kind of see what I mean by min-maxing, but chances are you're not going to have perfect gear. Nobody is, right? So you have to work with these so-called chess pieces, and every once in a while you may not need it. Let's do one more example here for you guys, which I'm absolutely in love with how it turned out. My Seer, in my opinion, is now best in slot geared. I think that this protects me against everything in the game, and yes, I would need even more accuracy for the arena, but remember, I think her primary role is dungeons and now Doom Tower first. If you want to use her in the arena, you're going to need like 450, 500 accuracy for you to compete in, let's say, high gold 4 or perhaps even low platinum. But for her, I had to go with a resistance chest. I was able to work out the accuracy on the rest of the gear. You see that I have 2 pieces of resistance here. I could have 2 pieces of accuracy right? Or I could match up these pieces here to be perception. So that is a work in progress. I do want to do that, but you also want to keep a good amount of resistance because of what I explained. If you don't have a block debuff champion like a Duchess or a Sifi or all the good ones, the Blind Seer, the Warlord, and you only have a Mausoleum Mage or worse or whatever, you have to bank on the resistance and not the block debuffs that might not be, you know, good enough for you. So for that, like I said, resistance chest, we have an accuracy banner. We do have a good amount here on the amulet as well, but you can kind of see that if this was legendary and I had like 2 rolls on accuracy, 2 rolls on resistance, it would be even better. The weapon obviously could be ranked up. We could have a little bit more. Same thing with these gloves right here, but still, to maintain these stats of like 100% crit rate, 250+% crit damage, you do not need more. I'll come back to Seer in a totally separate video of why you do not need more crit damage on this champion. I think it is just wasted. Aim for about this, maybe even less, and then aim to boost your accuracy and your resistance if you want her to be a little bit more universal. You also need to be around 210 speed. If you want her to go twice in some dungeons, like for instance the dragon on the second wave when you reset the skills, again, I'll come back to this in a little bit. We still have about 34,000 HP, again, with a resistance chest, but this only comes with high quality gear. Okay, so I get that this is end game, but if you can start planning this ahead and you can keep those pieces ready to go, hopefully you're going to save a lot of resources. Okay, and what I can now finally do before I let you guys go is to quickly show you guys sort of what I've been working on my account. I don't have a whole lot of these chest pieces yet. Okay, but you can kind of see that I'm starting to work more and more with them. For example, the Lydia has one of the accuracy chests on the accuracy set. We have our allure here, when one of my original lifesteal accuracy chest piece, the only one on my account that I got when I started playing about 2 years ago now. So again, really important. I have a great example here of one that I'm not currently using, but I'm definitely going to fit it on one of my champions. It has great rolls overall, crit rate and speed. I have even more here that I'm not, I haven't even started working on, right? But I think at some point I may need to use them. Resistance chest on a destroy piece, now really, really good for the Doom Tower. Some of these other sets here, not as important. Avenging might come in very handy. Accuracy, even if it's a broken piece on one of your champions like you see right here, it works as well, right? Especially in the beginning, like this one right here is fantastic for my Seer. It is almost perfect, almost perfect. We have one here on the healing set, and then we have 2 sets here, or 2 chest pieces here on the cruel set. Again, using on one of my Cold Hearts built for Doom Tower, also using on the Royal Guard, which is built for the Doom Tower. Finally, we have a couple of perception pieces that I recently crafted that I'm starting to try and work on, but they don't have perfect stats or substats, right? So I'm reluctant to fully max them out for the time being until I get something better. I'd rather work with broken pieces that have better substat rolls than to try and make it work with, you know, average pieces. And some of them, like, I'm a little bit desperate. You can kind of see this because I tried to complete Doom Tower in the first 12 days. And so this was necessary for me to get it done. But you can see my Armiger here, which which has it also, or is also built for the Doom Tower. And then we have the High Katoon, which is now also built for the Doom Tower. Okay, so guys, that's the summary of it. Now, the most important pieces, in my opinion, on your account are going to be these chest pieces, accuracy and resistance, on top of the banners, right? Very few champions in the game do not require accuracy or resistance banners, but I think for the most of them it is going to be that, combined with these new chest pieces. Now, it is the way to go, and here's my great haul. You got to factor this in case you want to compare my stats with your stats, but hopefully you've learned a thing or two about stacking your accuracy versus your resistance and how it is going to affect your ability to push through the hard Doom Tower and even finish it. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you later.